Okay, hi, welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. I'm Charlotte from Charlotte So Natural here in Newton, Kansas, and I'm actually just back from a trip to Cuba, and I'm so excited about this fabric that we have in the store right now. These are these old Boteras and the cars, and before I left for Cuba, I thought, oh, I want to use these fabrics and whip up a quick little quilt. Well, now that I'm back, that we actually got that quilt whipped up, but I realized that maybe you guys don't understand how important it is when you're buying fabric and following a pattern that you need to understand the grain line and the print direction in the fabric you've bought. So, for instance, this is this Botero, which is this car, this vintage car, American car that you find in Cuba. This is printed directional. This is a one-way print, of course determined by the shape of the card and what the card does. If the cards were flipping every which way and going around, we would refer to that as tossed. That would be an all-over print. It was just tossed. But this is definitely a one-way design. And it's printed so that to keep the cars right side up in a project, you want to pay attention to the grain, which is the lengthwise grain is along the selvage, and it's very stable. And this is the cross grain, and then it's stretchy. So this is a stripe, also from the same group, from this Club Havana group from Riley Blake. And stripes generally are printed, you find them printed lengthwise grain, where the stripe is going this direction. This is what's called a crosswise grain print, and it's kind of unusual. But I still wanted to use it. I wanted to make it work. So when this is cut into fat quarters, this is the selvage over here, the printed selvage, and then you cut down the fold. So you have a 22-inch long by 18-inch long piece of fabric, but your stripes are 22 inches long. And for me, that didn't work for this pattern. So I picked this pattern from Villa Rosa, and maybe if you see here, you can see how it has long pieces in it. And so I wanted these cars to be upright in the long pieces, and this pattern is written just for that. They tell you to take fat quarters and to cut parallel to the selvage for these long pieces. So this is the length being cut out of the 18-inch length, and so that works really great. And then these pieces are cut from the 1 1/4 yard piece. So you have 45 inches of this, which is how we cut this border. Then this is the long lengthwise, and then it is pieced, but it is the lengthwise grain going down. So if you were trying to do this pattern with no seams in this, so see how similar these patterns kind of are, but they both have lengthwise grain in them. This one is lengthwise grain, and this one is too. And then this one is actually, looks just very similar, but it is actually crosswise grain. So you need to know that if you were doing this one, and it says you need to read the whole pattern, and it says piecing the background as needed. So this length here would have some seams in it, and you could do that then for that pattern. You could do that, and these would be going lengthwise in the pattern. So if I had used that pattern, my stripes would be going that way on the quilt. So just something you should understand, that there's two grains in fabric that are lengthwise and crosswise. And I don't think you can catch this sound on the video, but when you still have the selvage attached, you should snap it. And that way, when you have a scrap that doesn't have the selvage attached to it anymore, you can do that and see which wise is lengthwise. Much lower. So anyway, Wisdom Wednesday. Thanks for joining me.